Just like a lot of you, I fell in love with Invisigal. I love Invisigal so freaking much. And initially, I wasn't the biggest fan of her specifically, not because of what the character was doing or what she was or anything like that. But me personally, I was just like, no, I like Blonde Blazer, and I still do, don't get me wrong. But I just started falling in love with her. Invisigal seemed like a perfect option for me personally throughout the first playthrough itself. And the more I just enjoyed about the character, or the more that went along, the more I enjoyed about the character. Now, with that said, if you all saw my last video, I did admit to choosing her, like I said, as my first choice, right? In terms of just going on a date. That was the first thing, was choosing who do you go on a date with, which is one of the hardest choices you can make. Is it Invisigal or is it Blonde Blazer? But in all honesty, I did that mostly because it felt like it was the right thing to do at the time. It felt like, in terms of the character, in terms of what was happening, it felt like she was kind of the person that I should have been swayed to go with in general. And don't get me wrong, I was for sure crushing on her at this point with her kind of punk vibe, the blunt personality, overall chemistry she had with Robert. I love characters that are like punk vibe plus extremely blunt. I love characters like that. Big fan of characters like that. And her chemistry with Robert was off the freaking charts. But even beyond her, whole dream scene where we, saw a lot of very, very crazy and wild things happening to a certain extent, definitely her feeling Robert to a certain extent. The major thing that makes me fall in love with her is how wholesome she really can be. Like, genuinely wholesome. Starting with when she thinks that she did a good job on the mission to save Granny. This whole mission is kind of odd, right? She's not really listening to what's going on. She's kind of doing her own thing. She feels very much like your typical villain, not really taking, mess from anybody, believing that what she does is the right thing to do, and all the above. She even gives a little salute to the camera, showing that she's just trying to impress and do good, right? And she thinks that she genuinely is. Shit, she even brings Robert his favorite donut after all of it is said and done, and according to Waterboy, she puts it all nice on a napkin and then proceeds to absolutely smash it into pieces. And just that little bit, I'm like, damn, I can imagine that in my mind. I can imagine her walking up, being like, put a nice napkin down, here's the donut, whatever, blah, 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 thinking to herself, like, you know what, maybe I did mess up. Maybe I did F up. But then she remembers the way Robert, was talking to her and was like, screw this. He doesn't deserve it anyways. And just smashes the donut. Because in all honesty, it's more of a situation where she had her feelings hurt. Not that she was like reprimanded or anything. She doesn't care about being reprimanded. She's a villain. But she really does look up to Robert to a certain extent and is trying to do better. So when Robert's basically telling her, like, you did horrible, like, that was not good, and blah, 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 she really does take it personally. So initially she kind of tries to put the donut there as a way of a peace offering. But then obviously we heard from Waterboy that she decided to smash that peace offering pretty damn quickly. But I think to an extent it still counts, right? It's the thought that counts at the end of the day. It doesn't matter that she smashed the donut into little pieces. She still was going to bring us a donut in the first place, which I think that counts for something. But that's not all, right? They both have some very funny and cute back and forths, but also some very heartfelt ones, giving us a far greater connection to Vizzy than the beginning of the game. Hearing about how much she feels lost in all of this, believing that she can never be a hero like Robert, that it's fate. It's fate for her to be a villain, that her invisible powers, or her powers, are made for her to steal things and watch, celebrities do the what, right? Those are things that she believes. She is questioning herself every step of the way, and seeing Robert help her get away from that mindset, at least for that moment, help her to start feeling like, dude, you're worth something, right? Like, fate is BS. Like, you don't have to worry about fate. You can make your own fate. And especially when she starts getting more and more comfortable with him, all of those things is, it's just genuinely beautiful. Like, it's a genuinely beautiful moment and a beautiful scene of Robert really trying to coach up and make Vizzy feel a lot better. And on top of that, when Vizzy is legitimately trying to fight against the villain, Robert's helping her, and eventually they win, she like is, you know, extremely excited about the victory, but is, you know, doing her own little Vizzy stuff, right? Being super inappropriate with kind of the, you know, the moment that she's having there, where she's trying to say various different lines to sound cool and blah, 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 right? Like, those are things that make Vizzy so awesome and so compelling as a character. And it really is a great thing to watch. And that's not the only thing that's amazing to watch. I really did enjoy the date scene. Yeah, don't get me wrong. In terms of if you're comparing it to Blonde Blazer, which I've said it before, I love both of these romances. I think they're both perfect for the game. But if you are basically deciding, all right, we'll compare it to the Blonde Blazer date, yeah, you don't get your typical date that you would think you would, right? You don't get like, you know, a spectacular date that Blonde Blazer does, giving you like an actual dinner and stuff like that. You guys even have a kiss. But the thing is, even this date scene, yeah, it doesn't have that big splash kiss moment that probably some of us wanted, but hearing her say that she is really enjoying this, that this is nice, this is really nice, is honestly worth more than anything, right? Having Robert show up out of nowhere, having Vizzy and him sit down and just have a mini conversation, you know, have a little tiny back and forth and just enjoy each other's company, sometimes that is good enough. And it kind of was that olive branch from Robert to Vizzy that kind of started off with her understanding that maybe she kind of deserved something more. She deserved something good in her life, and Robert is that good, right? And honestly, all of this that happened, it's better than a kiss. In my opinion, it's better, right? It's good, if not better than a kiss itself. And maybe some of you will disagree with that because, you know, you're like, no, I wanted some sort of kiss scene, some sort of thing to like make sure that we were standing on the idea of like, yeah, it's Vizzy and Robert. But me personally, it felt like the connection was just building even further. And we continue to see scenes like this, scenes that are really, really awesome to watch. And we see one where you see her kind of open up to Robert, especially with the whole dance scene at the house warming party, excuse me. And that is all around the idea of the song that she was playing, because the song that she is playing perfectly encapsulates what she is feeling towards Robert himself, right? She, to an extent, feels that she's still not worth Robert's love, but she also feels like, you are the one. You are the one. You are in my eye range. I'm looking toward you. You are the only one here, right? And I love it so much. And one of the you know, the lines, one of the lyrics that I love hearing, where it basically says that if I knew you in school, you'd be too cool for me. And it's not your typical thing where it's like, oh, it's because, you know, Robert is cool, like he's a cool hero. No. It's that she genuinely feels like he is that good of a person. He's that awesome of a person. And that if I knew you back then, you wouldn't have, you know, you'd be way too good for me. If I knew you back when I was truly a villain, like a real 100% villain, you'd be too good for me. And maybe, just maybe, I might be good enough for you now. And right there, I'm like, yeah, all the lyrics in that song, if you haven't listened to it and maybe had copyrighted music or you watched a streamer do it, and obviously I can't play it here because it's copyrighted, but if you haven't listened to it, if you haven't heard the song, you definitely need to hear it, because at the end of the day, he changed her for the better. And that's what the song is giving off, that she is obsessed with Robert. Like, she loves Robert, and she questions herself here and there, like, am I good enough for you still? Like, you know, like even the person that I am now, right? Like, but I'm always tuning into you. I'm always like tuning in, watching you. I'm always paying attention to you. And frankly, all of these moments just helped her change for the better, gave her courage to be better. And even after her mistake and, you know, all of these things that we end up seeing happen, right? The mistake in getting Chase put in the hospital, if you follow the line of forgiving her, it makes things even better for the relationship. Because at the end of the day, it isn't very simple. It isn't just so easy, to forgive yourself. And those hurdles that both of them go through make kind of the relationship even better. And that's kind of the idea with, which I'm not downplaying Blonde Blazer by any means. I love the Blonde Blazer relationship, and I'll say that over and over again because I don't want people saying that I don't believe that. But one thing about the Blonde Blazer relationship is it does feel easy. It feels easier. But with Invisigal, it feels like there were hurdles. It feels like there were issues to get through and push through. And sometimes dealing with those issues, pushing through those issues, forgiving people for their mistakes and forgiving people for, some major things that, let's just say, they did in their past, or mistakes they're trying to, not recreate. Those are moments that can make a foundation even stronger for a relationship. And frankly, it's a beautiful thing to watch with Robert and Vizzy. And I'm gonna be honest, after the moment with Chase, it was probably extremely difficult for someone like Vizzy to understand and figure out what do I say? What do I do? I feel like garbage. I feel like, I messed up and all these things. And if you forgive her, all of these things continue to the point where she starts to maybe look at herself in a better light. But in all honesty, she does wonder, am I worthy of Robert? Am I worthy of this person? Am I worthy of someone like him? And that right there is the question throughout the entire story of Dispatch in terms of Invisigal, is am I worthy of Robert's love? And that right there makes for a compelling love story and a compelling, relationship in general. Yeah, is it difficult? Is there issues? Of course, there always will be, but it makes things so much sweeter in the end of it. Because once all of this ensues, right? Because Robert tells her flat out, and maybe she doesn't believe him, and probably to an extent she doesn't, because she's so hard on herself at this point. If you forgive her, right, and that if you go down that line of reasoning that Robert forgives her anyways, telling her dude, this is the present now. That's the past. All of those things you did were in the past. You're a different person now. I'm a different person now. All of those things, right? And then obviously you kiss her, stuff like that. You have that moment with Invisigal, and eventually, right, you're kind of sacrificing the morale of the team for Invisigal herself. And at the end of the day, I felt like this was the right choice, right? Allowing Invisigal to stay and allowing her to be a part of the team, even though the team was legitimately saying it's either us or her. But at the end of the day, you are the Phoenix program. You are trying to rehabilitate these villains. You are trying to make a difference in their lives. So yeah, bringing her back made a ton of sense. And if you follow all of those lines, right, and you follow the Invisigal route fully, you see a lot of things, a lot of amazing things that end up happening, right? You learn that she's been trying to do something in the betterment of you, right? She's been trying to make sure that not only Robert is safe because of, the whole Astral Pulse thing, but also trying to help him become Mecha Man once again. And there are question marks for you to think maybe she's gonna betray me. Maybe I followed the line of loving her and then she's going to betray me. And that right there would hurt the most. But of course, a lot of us committed to it because we're no, I don't believe she's a bad person. What she did somewhat makes sense. Honestly, it made sense to me when I was hearing it for the first playthrough. So you decide, you know what? All right, I'm gonna let you go. I'm going to uncuff you, or I'm gonna, cut the zip tie, and we're gonna get you out of here. And this ends up being the proper choice, because before you know it, when they finally defeat Shroud, at least to an extent, we are then basically put in a position where we're deciding what's gonna happen, right? What's gonna happen next, and what's going on? Do I give him the Astral Pulse? What do I give him? And no matter what, if you give him both, if you give him the fake, if you give him the real one, whatever you want to say, right? Whatever happens, when you do that, you get the moment where Shroud realizes this guy, Robert Robertson, right? Mecha Man himself, he is going to be a big reason why I don't get what I want. I don't get exactly what I want, and I don't get, the actual outcome that I desire. So I got to end him. I got to take him out now. And Shroud the entire time thinks, oh, Invisigal's on my side. She's still in my pocket. She's still the villain, blah, blah, blah. I knew Robert would fall in love with her, that she would steal his heart, and blah, 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 and all this stuff, right? And then guess what? You get that moment. The moment where the bullet comes soaring towards you, and Invisigal steps in the way, blocking the bullet's path, at least to an extent, and, of course, stopping the bullet, leading to Robert beating the absolute hell out of Shroud. And then you get the choice, spare or end. You can make that choice however you want. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, I definitely finished the job. Let's just say that. I won't get into more information about that. But then you have that moment where Invisigal made up for everything, right? All the lies, all the things she's done in her past, she made up for it now. She took a bullet like a real hero. She did something that was truly heroic. Not worrying about fate, not worrying about what she did in her past, not worrying about anything else like, oh, I have a villain power, I have villain powers. Don't worry about any of that. She put it into her own hands, saved Robert, and then that was that. And Invisigal, or Courtney, was there as the hero. And we're talking about that proper kiss, you know, that proper kiss that we spoke of. The one in the locker room, I didn't really see it as a true proper kiss. It felt like it was more of a kiss in distress. Like she wanted to prove to him that, like, or basically show him, like, these are my feelings toward you and I want to make it clear. But the one where she's on the stretcher, that one felt the best, right? That one seemed like the one to fully put together the kind of relationship that Invisigal, or Courtney, and Robert created. That kiss just made everything cemented. It cemented everything that they were doing, cemented what they were building, and cemented their love story, at least for now. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And frankly, these are all the reasons. These moments made me just fall in love with Invisigal from Dispatch. But I would love to hear you guys in the comments section below. Maybe why you didn't like Invisigal personally. Maybe why you liked her. Maybe why you liked Blonde Blazer more. Maybe why you liked, you know, Invisigal the most. I would love to hear all of those kind of things in the comment section below. Opinions are still opinions, so be nice to each other at the end of the day. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, if you guys did, YouTube believes you'll enjoy this one, so might as well go check it out.